Today I'm pleased to announce that I
put it. City, state if you're from America, or country if you're not from America. Where you tuning in from tonight? Let me know. I'm gonna jump right in. As you can see, I'm ripping and running. Just getting here. Walking in the house, literally, for my daughter's practice. With enough time to walk upstairs, talk to my son, right back downstairs and jump right on the computer. City, state, country. Where you tuning in from? Chicago. Thank you so much. Erica. Detroit. Clayton, Ohio. Memphis, Tennessee. Appreciate you. Bradenton, Florida. Thank you so much. Connecticut. All right. St. Clair Shores, Michigan. Okay. Thank you so much for tuning in. The Ukraine. Appreciate that. Thank you so much for that love. Huntsville, New York City. Corona, Canada. Or Corona, California. Baltimore. Dallas. Hey, y'all know the drill. Let me know where you're tuning in from. Then like the video and share it. I need you to share it. Let's get the number moving tonight. I know we're later than normal. But let's get that number moving tonight. Chicago again. Fairborn, Georgia, Jamaica. Thank you so much. Praying for you guys there. Harvey, Illinois. Seattle, Washington, Riverside, California. Hey, Charla. Hope all is well with you. I appreciate you. Newark, New Jersey. Indianapolis, Indiana. O'Neill, Atlanta, Georgia. So good to meet you, brother O'Neill, at the Atlanta stop. Thank you so much for your support. Hey, Mashawn, Baltimore. Appreciate you. Y'all just jumping everywhere. The DMV. Appreciate you. Thank you so much for tuning in. Nikki from the DMV. Appreciate your support. I am really excited to be here tonight in Pleasant Mount, Pennsylvania. All right. Atlanta. Thank you. Covington, Georgia. Mount Holly. Hey, Kim. Hey, Nikki. Brother Jonathan. Huntsville, Alabama. Good to see you. Good to be on with all of you tonight. If you haven't already, I want you to like the video. I want you to share the video. Okay, like it and share it. And let everybody know that you're tuned in tonight. I would greatly appreciate that. Am I muted? You guys can't hear me? You should be able to hear me. Davenport, Florida. Cleveland, thank you. Laurel, Maryland, I appreciate you. Thank you all. Okay, good. Just making sure. All right, you guys can hear okay. I am trying to switch my microphone, but it's not giving me what it normally does. I'm trying to switch my microphone. Let me pull this one. Now let me just do my headphones. That's what I prefer anyway, because the mic is clearer. Woolwich, New Jersey. Thank you so much. Appreciate all of you. Thank you. And glad you're here. Appreciate that, Sanaa. Appreciate all of you. I'm thankful for. All right. Thank you so much for your support. It's good to be on with you tonight, and hopefully you all can still hear me okay. I am excited to be here. It's been a very, very, very long day and a very, very, very long week. I got off the plane Monday from Atlanta. Shout out to the ATL, the team there, and everybody that participated in the last stop of the 2025 Self Awareness Tour. Really am thankful for your support. Really appreciate your support showing up the way you did. It was completely um, packed out, and I really do appreciate your support there. And that was really meaningful to have you there. That said, I literally got off the plane. I think I landed at about 11:15, made it at home just in time to jump on the 12 o'clock client call, left that call. Uh, Got off the call at 1, walked out of the house at 1:10 to go get my son and his team's dinner for their away game. Picked that up, brought it back to the school, dropped it off, picked up my daughter, ran her home. She changed in 10 minutes. We walked out the door, hit the road, went to his game. It literally every day was like that. It was so much going on this week. It's so much going on still. Um, and I am really tired, but I'm here because this is the last live of 2025. Did that rhyme? Well, at least for Thursday, subscribers were live this week. This is the last live for 2025. And so um, I wasn't going to miss tonight. It's what it is. I've got work to do after this. You all may have noticed and received some notifications today that the work arrived 4 days early. It wasn't supposed to get here until the 22nd. They started coming in today. Got notifications on that. And so those orders should be on their way to people. I think it's going to be very close leading up to Christmas. I don't know. It just depends on where you live. And so that came through. Just a lot going on. So I just appreciate all of your support. Thank you for your patience. I literally, like I said, just walked in. My daughter's in there eating her dinner at 10:15 at night because she has a crazy schedule on Thursdays as well. Thursdays are the worst day of the week for me. But thank you for your support and your encouragement. Let me say quickly, ooh, that's what I forgot to do. Uh, I got a surprise for y'all, but I'm going to save it until about midway. Let me copy something really quick. My announcements, because I feel like I'm all over the place, and it's because I have not had time to prepare my announcements. I have a couple of bullet points about what I'm going to talk about. That's all I need. But announcements, I didn't get a chance to copy and edit as I always do. Uh, Atlanta, we can take off. Thank you again for those of you that supported Atlanta. Shout out to all of our subscribers. I appreciate your support. If you are not subscribed on Patreon, I would highly encourage you to do that. I've rolled out a 50-week syllabus for them, for all of our subscribers, and that's going to kick off in January. And so it's 50 weeks of intense teaching. And make sure if you have not subscribed that you do that right away. Um, and I really do. Um, I am tired. Somebody says you look tired. You're gonna have a full spa day before the year, and nah, I ain't gonna have time for a spa day. I wish I did. I just don't. I don't really have time at all. Not even for me. But I appreciate that, and it's so kind. You can of course support the show. Many of you are already doing that. But this means it's going to be a good show. Now, when I'm tired, it's about to be a problem. But so much I gotta tell you guys. Um, I should have some information on 2026 and what the tour, quote unquote, looks like. I can say it will not be um called a tour anymore. I don't know what it's going to be called. I just know it won't be called a tour anymore. Let's just put it that way. And it's going to be a little bit more intentional and hopefully a little bit more big. And so should have some information on that as the weeks to come. There's quite a few things I have to get ironed out that I haven't even had time to concentrate on. And I'm going to kind of talk about that a little bit tonight. Um, Support the show. The ways to support the show are on the screen, should be on the screen. If not, let's get them up on the screen so that you guys can see the ways to support. If you haven't liked, shared, and subscribed, do that right away. Let me also mention I put this on my story. I was literally multitasking. I was looking through some order things. I was cleaning up in my house for my ceiling, getting redone in my kitchen, and dust all over my house, literally the downstairs. And I was going through all of this stuff and I got an alert. The 5 areas of healing is almost sold out again. This will be the fifth time that it's sold out, which is crazy. If you have not purchased a copy of the 5 areas of healing, I would highly recommend you probably get that within the next 24 hours. Because when I then went into the system to look at the inventory after getting the alert, I don't think I'm going to make it through the weekend. So if you don't have a copy, get that right away. I've already put those orders in. They're going to be on back order. It's not going to be able to get. You're not going to if they go out of stock and you order after they're out of stock, you're not going to get them before Christmas, unfortunately. But New Year, yeah, that's very possible. That book is a lot more easier to process than the work, which is the big thick thing that all of you guys have ordered, that journal, which is a monster. Okay, so it takes a little bit longer for that to go there. And so if you don't have a copy of that, get it right away. And the other book that you're going to need is Don't Make It Happen, Let It Go. So if you don't have your copy of that, I would highly recommend you get that right away. Inventory is looking pretty good on that book for this round. And so go ahead and grab a copy of that as well. I think you're going to really appreciate it. And it's going to go really well with the work, 5 areas of healing. I still have copies of Learning to Love the Life You Live, which is a very powerful kind of like daily devotional type of journal, daily devotional type of book, and some other things too. So just check out the site. All right. I'll get back to that in a second because I've got something to share with you all that might help some of you. tonight, and I was doing that, and then I got sidetracked because I'm doing a million things. Let me get my backlights on. Let me just shout out all of my moderators. Thank you to all of my moderators who do a wonderful job of monitoring the chat area. I really appreciate all of you. Thankful for your support. And I hope you will continue to be respectful of the chat area. Here at Eagle Nation, we certainly welcome your open dialogue. And so please get your journal, but certainly engage in the chat area. And let's just try to do everything we can to keep it as professional as possible. In the event that you see a crazy comment in the chat area, don't go back and forth with people. It's not wise, it's not healthy. Just drop an eagle in the chat area, and our awesome moderators will do what they do. They will shoot the birds out the sky. Eagles don't fly down where birds are. All right. And so I want you to make sure that you do that. Yes, the 3-day trauma reset. I didn't even mention it yet. I was going to mention it later. Somebody's asking about it. But that's my annual 3-day course. It is capped at a very small capacity. That's probably going to be sold out maybe in the next 2 weeks. If I'm looking at the timing of this, probably right at time of the course. And so would highly recommend you go ahead and grab a seat if you haven't already. That's 3 days with me or 3 sessions with me, January 5th, 6th, and 7th. And my New Year's course is always very, very, very popular. This one's going to be really special because I want to talk a little bit about some practical things specifically pertaining to your nervous system. It's going to be fun. And we're going to connect that to trauma and how to process that, how to do it in a healthy way. So if you haven't signed up for that, do so right away. Thank you for that reminder. All right. Um, I want you to put in the chat tonight's topic. We are talking about the benefits of divine focus. Go ahead and put that in the chat. Let's get started. I still haven't done what I need to do and don't find it. The benefits of divine focus is what we're going to talk about. And I wanted to talk about this because, so many of you are getting ready for 2025 or 2026 as you should. And that's a great thing. I don't have a problem with any of that. What I want you, though, tonight to consider is the impact of focus on your ability to be able to process every goal that you have. And the reality is, a lot of us are missing it, not because we are bad people. We're missing the things that we want to do because we don't have proper focus. And I want to talk tonight a little bit about focus, and I'm going to give you some benefits or some things you should not be doing with proper focus. And I think this is a great way to end 2025 because it is going to challenge you to really reconsider things like your priorities, things like your boundaries, your expectations of yourself, the expectations that you have for other people. It's going to give you a chance to do all of those things. Thank you so much, Naomi, for your support. Appreciate you. She's so awesome and sweet. Part of the Atlanta team 2 times. I appreciate you. So this is going to help in a lot of different ways, and I want to deal with it so that we understand that focus ultimately is going to be what is necessary for us to be able to get all of these goals that you're going to have on your vision board in the next couple of days, right? Many of you are probably already doing vision board planning, things like that, and that's awesome. But understand it's going to require a different level of focus for many of us to be able to reach the goals, the expectations that we're looking to reach. Now, I want to be very clear here. Some of the things I'm going to teach tonight, as they typically always are, might be a little offensive, and that's life. One of the things that I've had to come to the conclusion of, particularly over the last, I would say, month and a half, one of the things I've had to come to the very harsh but very necessary conclusion of is that when you are really growing and healing, you come to accept the fact that everybody's not for you and you ain't for everybody. Everybody's not for you and you're not for everybody. And when you accept that, and you don't have to accept it with shade, you don't have to accept it with drama. Some of us are just drama kings and queens. You don't have to accept it with shade or with drama. You can just accept it for what it is, that you ain't for everybody and everybody ain't for you. And when you accept that, you really do position yourself not to take challenges and difficulties so very personal. All right. And so I want to talk about this thing that was 8, I believe it was. Yes. I want to talk about this thing called focus. And I want to connect it to something that I call divine focus. All right. Now, this is important because the way I look at what I call divine focus is this. I want to explain divine focus, and then I want to give you 5 things that this divine focus should help you do or not do, if that makes sense. But let's talk quickly about focus. Thank you so much, Taylor. I appreciate it on the frames. Let's talk a little bit about focus. When it comes to focus, moving forward from this point forward, I don't want you to do anything, number one, that doesn't align with your values. Okay? If we're going to get to a place of focus, the baseline of all of this is always going to be coming back to your values. If something doesn't make sense for your values, it doesn't make sense for your life. I don't care what that thing is. If something doesn't make sense for your values, it will never make sense for your life. And if you are doing things that make sense for your life, that implies that it makes sense for your values. Okay? Thank you, PRS 251 TikTok. Appreciate you. Does that make sense? So, nothing in your life that you are involved in should be out of alignment with your values. So, the number one and fastest way to get our life into focus, which means having a stern and clear point of direction in a very intentional way. A stern and an intentional point of direction in an intentional way. If you're going to get to a place of focus, it's always going to come back to a baseline of values. Right? Your attitudes, your beliefs, your perspectives, and your principles. So as you're preparing for a new year, as you're throwing away, can't start by my phone thrown already. As you get ready to close the year and you are recapping your year, you're preparing for next year, let's start there. How do we get into focus? Well, number one, we identify our values. If you have not downloaded my value system, go to my website and get my value system ASAP. Because the value system, you only need about 30 days and you'll have your values identified. And then from that point on, it's just plug and play. If you're making decisions about your life, does this align with my values? If it does, sure, you can maybe go with it. Maybe. And I'm saying maybe because I've got to shift this from not just focus, but divine focus. So focus is when we are putting our lives in an intentional way, when we are putting our lives in alignment with our values. Focus is when we are intentionally putting our life in alignment with our values. Y'all recording it? Is when we are intentionally putting our life in alignment with our values. Now, let me say this to you, because there's a really good question here that Kay has on TikTok. My question is life constantly about constantly making the right decision to achieve perfection? Absolutely not, Kay. You may be new to my space here, and welcome if you are. I talk about this in the value system. You download my system, I talk about it. When you make a life decision in alignment with your values, it's not about making the right decision. It ain't even about getting it right anymore. It's about getting it aligned. And this is such a mindset shift that if you make it and master it, then you stop feeling the pressure of having to get every decision right. And you shift that perspective to getting every decision aligned. So now when I make decisions, I don't make decisions and say, I got to get this right. I got to get this right. I got to get this right. I make decisions and say, I got to get it aligned. And if it is aligned, ultimately it's going to be right, even if things go left. If your decisions are aligned, everything is going to be right, even if it initially goes left. Why? Because you're making decisions in agreement with your attitudes, beliefs, perspectives, and principles. And anytime you make decisions in agreement with your attitudes, beliefs, perspectives, and principles, you don't worry about the outcome. Now, something else you don't worry about is you don't worry about the things you can't control, i.e., things and people. You can make a values driven decision and people change. It doesn't mean you made the wrong decision. The same values that got you in the decision are the same values that will what? Get you out. So if something aligned with your values when you made the decision, and then those things changed or those circumstances changed, then you go back to your values, and the same values that told you to pursue should be the same values that tell you what? To withdraw. And that's all right. Ain't no shade. It don't have to be no drama. It's okay. Okay. So if you have not downloaded my value system, go to my website, go to the link in my profile bio, get it now. It's one of the most valuable things I've created in digital format only that I probably should put in a book, because it's really that simple to understand that once you identify what those things are, you're unstoppable at that point. All right. Now, once you recognize that focus is when we intentionally put our life in alignment with our values, then what is divine focus? I want you to record what divine focus is. This is so good. Divine focus, record this. You're going to be the smartest person at the water cooler tomorrow if it's your last day of work until next year. You're going to be the smartest person for the rest of the year on your job if tomorrow's your last day of work. Let me give you the definition of divine focus. Divine focus is when you go with your values, and when you don't know what to do, you wait. Let me explain that again. Focus is when we intentionally put our life in alignment with our values. Divine focus is when you intentionally put your life in alignment with your values, and when you don't know what to do, you wait. So what separates divine focus from regular focus is the spiritual principle called waiting. The spiritual principle called waiting is what separates regular focus, alignment with your values, and making decisions accordingly, versus alignment with your values, and you have that alignment, but you still don't feel complete confidence in the decision. Remember, I told you that when your thoughts and emotions agree, but you still feel shaky, it's a spiritual matter. That's where discernment kicks into play. That's when, should I be patient and wait, or should I ditch the whole idea altogether, comes into play. That's a spiritual matter. So divine focus is value alignment that gets us to a place where if we still don't know what to do, we wait. We wait. Now, let me tell you why this is important. I want you to record this and put this in all capital letters in your journal, something, because this is a major PowerPoint moment here. This challenges us to place our focus, effort, and energy only where there is alignment. Divine focus and the power of waiting challenges us to put our focus, effort and energy only where there is alignment. Period. And when I say alignment, I mean complete alignment. I don't mean partial alignment. I don't mean good enough alignment. I mean complete alignment. Divine focus challenges us to only place our focus, effort, and energy in spaces where there is full alignment. Excuse me. It is, in fact, the intersection between our attitudes, beliefs, perspectives, and principles and what we say, what we do, and what we believe. Surrounded by this thing called patience. Surrounded by this thing called the ability to wait. This is why I was sharing with the client this week, had some really good questions about my approach on my lives and things like that. And I was sharing with her. I had to remind her, I don't just service Christians. I'm Christian, proudly a Christian and a believer, but I don't just service Christians. I have clients that are atheists. I have friends that are atheists, believe it or not. And one of the funniest and the most fun conversations that we have together is me convincing them that they actually do have a spiritual foundation that they just haven't received. Because if you ever say to me that you've had to execute patience or utilize patience in order to make a decision, what you're saying to me is you've tapped into a spiritual principle. Patience ain't mental, it ain't emotional, it's not natural. Patience is a spiritual matter. Ever been to a restaurant? Yes. Ever had to order food at the restaurant? Yes. Unless it's fast food, and even fast food, you can go to places if you're getting a burger and tell them you want it off the broiler and it don't come right out. Not even at fast food. But if you go to a restaurant and you order food, order from the menu, what are you going to have to do after you order it? You're going to have to wait. And while you wait, are you sitting there and doubting that the food ain't coming? Mm-mm. I've never seen a person go to a restaurant, order from the menu, and then when they order, start questioning themselves and saying, man, I wonder if that food really back there. Anybody ever been to a restaurant with anybody that ordered and then they started saying, I wonder if the food back there. I just ordered this menu. The waitress, I know the waitress didn't tell me we out of macaroni and cheese, lobster mac and cheese, but I wonder if it's back there. Mm-mm. People order it and they wait. They wait. And so even if you don't think you have a spiritual foundation, even if you don't think you believe in God or Buddha, whatever, I'm telling you, you have a spiritual foundation and you have lived with spiritual principles if you have exercised principles like patience. Patience ain't natural, it ain't normal, it's spiritual, it's divine. And you're right, Chels. She says, so being patient will never waste your time because as long as your values are, you're aligned with your values, it ain't a waste of time. Exactamundo. Which is why, y'all, when you make decisions with divine focus, you have both your values and spirituality working for you at the same time. Does this make sense? Y'all with me? Let's get into these 5 things. This making sense? Okay. Like the video, share the video, and support the show. Thank you, KP. I appreciate you. Just saying it. So let me give you 5 things divine focus will do for you. I don't really quite know how to word this. These were just the 5 things that needed to be shared with tonight. Let me give you 5 outcomes, outputs. Yeah, that's it. Let me give you 5 outputs of divine focus. Let's talk about that. Okay. Is this helping? If it is, like the video, share the video. Let's get the numbers up. Let's keep going tonight. Let's get the numbers up. Let's talk about 5 outputs of divine focus. Number 1, no more wasted time. No more wasted time. When your life is in divine focus, you recognize something that will knock your head off your feet or head off your body. One of the main things you recognize when you are functioning in divine focus is that time is your currency. You need to put that on a billboard and put it across your wall as a wallpaper. Time is your currency. Time. And when we walk in divine focus, live in divine focus, we recognize we don't have no more time to waste. We don't have more time to waste. We're not interested in wasting time. And let's go a little bit further. You recognize that not only is time your currency, this is the big one. Time is only multiplied through experiences. I used to make the statement that you can't get your time back. That's not true. You can get your time back. Divinely, we understand that we can get time back because God can redeem the time. But how does he redeem the time? Does he pause time and then reset the clock back 7 years and let you relive it again? No, he doesn't do that. The way he redeems time is he redeems it through experience. Time, I want you to remember this. This is subscriber level worthy, y'all. Subscribers, I apologize. Just give me a minute with everybody tonight. Time can only be multiplied through experiences. The only way you can get time back is through the experiences you've already received. I need a moment to have a nerd moment. Y'all bear with me. The only way you can get time back is through the experiences you receive. Let me give you an easy analogy to make this make sense. When I went skydiving, it was probably top 5 experience of my life. Of every experience I've ever had, top 5. I had to call my mom and tell her when it was over because I hinted to her that I was going to do it, and she was like, "No, you're not." So I called her when it was over, and I was out of breath. Top 5 experiences of my life. But let me tell you something about that experience. I had to get there. I remember getting there. You had to be there like 2 hours early where I went. When you got there, there was a check-in process. Then you had to go through a training process. Then there was a wait because there were people in front of you. Except all of these things were going on. And then finally, if you had the experience recorded, the cameras were there, and you had the little camera thing on your helmet. All of a sudden, you're walking and they're asking you questions. All of this stuff is connected to the experience, and you get in and you're sitting in the seat, and it's tandem jumping. So your partner, I'm 6'3". The guy that tandem jumped with me was like 5'9". The guy that tandem jumped with me was like Gary Coleman on my back. He was like 5'9", and I'm 6'3". Now, granted, he I think had like over 50, 60, 70,000 hours of flying time. I felt safe, but little short dude, right? And you're all packed on this plane, all this stuff, and then you jump, and then you float through the air. This that experience, and it's beautiful, and you land, and then you finish, landing, and you take your stuff off, and you're out of breath, and it's and it's great. But y'all, that whole experience took me about 2.5 hours. 2.5 hours. Question: can I physically get that 2.5 hours back? No. Physically, I can't get that 2.5 hours back. How do I get that 2.5 hours back? Because it was the right experience. What you have to understand about wasted time is that when you don't waste time, time continues to live on through positive experiences. When you don't waste time, are y'all writing this down? I don't see no salads coming across here tonight. I know it's Christmas. I don't see. When you don't waste time, time continues to live on through positive experiences. That's solid. And the opposite is true. You ready? When you waste time, and that waste of time yields bad experiences, not only have you lost that time, but the replay of those experiences in your mind doesn't redeem the time. It makes it feel like you lost more than what you actually did. Which is why when you waste time in a space, in a place, with a person, you waste time and you replay that time that you wasted with the wrong person in the wrong space. You will know that that person, time, or space didn't align with your values if the replay of that experience in your mind makes you feel like that experience was more of a waste than a benefit. Maybe I'm not explaining this well. Thank you, Miss Tamney. I appreciate your support. This is why some of the greatest experiences that many of you have had, those experiences have been. I went skydiving in 2021. I think it was just as outside was still trying to open up. People were out there in masks. I mean, I didn't think we was gonna catch COVID being way up in the sky like that, but I guess anything is possible. So it was 2021, I think, when I went skydiving, and I can I can tell you what I was wearing. You know why? Because that was an experience that was in alignment with my values. There ain't no time wasted when you're in divine focus. Here's what I need you to do. I need you to start evaluating the amount of value provided in every space you're in. I need you to think about every space you're in, every connection that you have, and I need you to evaluate the amount of value that that space, person, environment is providing to you. Evaluate the amount of value provided in every space, in every experience. If you are taking on the low value experiences, you're going to waste your time. If you are making low value commitments, meaning you are committing your time, effort, energy, and focus in spaces that are not returning a value that is on par with what you are committing to, you are in a space where you are wasting time. Every commitment does not yield high value. Just because you are committed to something does not mean you are committed to a valuable thing. Just because you are committed to something does not mean you are committed to a valuable thing. I'll get to that. I'll get to that later. Jesus Christ. Just because you are committed to something does not mean you are committed to a valuable thing. You've got to be very careful of low value commitments, low return commitments. I want to say this is going to be so bad. Just hear me out. Let me share something that I shared with a single client of mine. She gave me permission to share this. Y'all notice I didn't do any content this week. Number one, I wasn't going to even really have time. I knew I wasn't coming from Atlanta. It was intentional for me to try to use this week as a sabbatical from content to try to focus on my kids closing out their semester, things like that. And that went left because I've been working like crazy, but I haven't done any content on purpose. I got enough content to last me the next 4 to 5 years easily. Had a conversation with a lady this week, a client, and she gave me the permission to use this. And we were having this conversation about her frustration with wanting to be married. And she hit me with the verse because she's a Christian. She hit me with the verse that said that marriage is honorable above among all in the bed, all undefiled. And she said, Doc, see, I don't desire to be single. I want to be married because, the Bible says that marriage is honorable. I agree with that. Marriage is honorable. It is an honorable thing to commit your life to a person for the rest of your life. That's very honorable. You ready for this, though? I said something to her that blew her away. It might bless you. I said to her, marriage can be honorable and low value at the same time. Marriage can be honorable and low value at the same time. You know how a marriage can be honorable and low value at the same time? I know some of y'all look lost. It's low value when the commitment and the thing that you're committed to don't align with your values. Because if marriage was so perfect, that divorce rate wouldn't be just over 2 out of 3. So, how can marriage be honorable, but just over 2 out of 3 people are getting divorced? I tell you why. Because they did an honorable thing, but with low value commitment. Oh my God. Uh, you did what you did was honorable, but the commitment value level is real low. That's why you better off single. Hear me out. You're better off single than to commit to something that is low value commitment in the name of something that's honorable. There are a whole lot of people today that are married and did the honorable thing, but they did the honorable thing with a person that is low value, with a commitment that is low value commitment. And so here they are feeling stuck in an honorable thing, but it has low value. It's a low value commitment. I need you to redo this year. Listen to me. 2026, I need you to redo your calendar of low value commitments. Look at your life. Look at the things you're connected to, the environments you're in, the connections you have. They might be romantic, they might be platonic, they might be friendships, familial, it doesn't matter. I want you to look at all these things and redo your calendar of low value commitments and make sure that you do not have more than 5% of a commitment level to anything that's low value. Some of us busy, but a lot of stuff we busy with is low value commitment. You got a lot going on, but the stuff you got going on is low value. You involved in a lot of stuff, but the stuff you involved in is low value. And it's low value with low value people. I need you to look at your calendar and redo your calendar of low value commitments. And if something you are committed to is of low value or of low return, that means you're wasting your time. And you are absolutely destroying your divine focus. Number two, let me tell you what divine focus does. Something else divine focus does. Number two, divine focus causes you to avoid being diluted and not different. I'm going to explain. Divine focus causes you to avoid being diluted and not different. When you are operating and functioning in divine focus, it keeps you from being diluted and it keeps you from not being different. To put this plainly, as you're preparing for New Year and closing out this year strong, I don't want you to be everywhere. I just need you to be where you're called. Put this in your notes. Don't be everywhere. Be where you're called. Don't be everywhere. Be where you're called. Let me go ahead and get in your business a little bit. When you recognize that time is your greatest currency, that you have a focus that is greater than normal focus, it is divine. That when you align your life up with your values, so that what you say, what you do, and what you believe all agree, and then for the things that still don't click, you can function in divine patience or learn how to wait, then you recognize that you have no business being everywhere but where you're called to be. And if any space, connection, whatever, compromises what you're called to be, it's not a good idea to be there. Don't be everywhere. Be where you're called. And I'm not just talking about physical proximity. I'm talking about relationally, environmentally. I'm talking about in your mind and in your focus. I'm talking about in your behaviors. You don't need to take up space energetically anywhere, or you don't need to take up space energetically everywhere. You need to take up space energetically where you're called to be. Well, how do I know I'm called to be in a space? I'm glad you asked. I know a little bit about something about callings. How does any space align with your purpose? You want me to give you some ways that it can't, you're going to know? Some signs of alignment with your purpose if a space is aligned with their purpose? Does the space make you better? Y'all writing this down? I'm not talking to you. Alexa? What is Alexa talking about? Does the space make you better? You ready? Does the space challenge you? We get does the space make you better? That goes without saying. I want to spend some time on this one. Does the space challenge you? Some of you missed the spaces and the people you were called to because they were wrapped in a challenge. Some of you missed the spaces and the people you were called to because it was wrapped in a challenge. And because you were not prepared for that challenge, you not only lost that space or that person, but you lost the thing or the person you were called to because it was hard. Just because it's hard doesn't mean it's not your purpose. That's for all of you weak folk that want everything you do to be seamless and easy. Good luck. Good luck. There is a road, a highway that is filled with easiness. There is a highway filled with no challenges. There is a highway filled with everything working out the way you want it to. There is a highway that is filled with things always just falling into place seamlessly and with ease. There is a highway where nothing is challenged, nothing is complicated, everything is simple, and that highway is called average. That highway is called average, highway average, average avenue, average boulevard, average drive. So, how does the space align with their purpose? Does it make you better? Does the space challenge you? Or does it just make you average? And I'm talking about challenging you in a healthy way, not in a toxic way. I'm talking about challenging you in a healthy way, making you re examine your values, re examine your own alignment with your values, your own shortcomings, your own deficiencies. Some of us are blaming other people for our own deficiencies. And when I grew up, they used to call that your slip is showing. You know, I don't think women even wear these things anymore, but these things that go on your skirt called a slip, that's what they used to call it. I don't know what y'all call it today, but it used to be called a slip that was under your skirt, your dress. And if that slip wasn't pulled up right, from what I understand, then some of it would still be kind of showing at the bottom. That's what happens with many of you when you end up in spaces that really do align with your purpose, but because you don't like challenges, you get frustrated, you get triggered, you get all of this stuff, and you think that the challenge is the problem when really your slip is showing. Y'all not supporting the show. I'm teaching way better than y'all supporting. And I realize that a lot of women don't wear slips anymore for a lot of different reasons. But if I can stay on this analogy, though I'm not a slip and dress expert, I've been around enough women, including my mama, enough to know that whether it's a slip or C. Marie says it's Spanx, I call them good old fashioned girdles. Let me tell you what slips are designed to do. Slips are designed to keep you in check. That's why it's hard to be triggered when you got a slip. That's why it's hard to blame other people for how you feel when you're wearing a slip. Spanx, you fill in the blank. That's why it's hard for you to blame other people for your problems when you got a slip on. I need you to make sure that space aligns with your purpose. Let me give you more. Does the space make you better? Does the space challenge you? Does the space call out your dysfunction? Uh oh, crickets. Does the space call out your dysfunction? Or does that space just let you live in it and hold your hand and tell you, hey, you can be dysfunctional? To put this in street vernacular, does the space call out your foolishness? Some of us have been in spaces where our foolishness was called out, but because we weren't healthy and haven't been growing, we went to tactics like gaslighting and deflecting to keep us from looking in the mirror. You can tell when a person is not healthy. When you call them out on their junk, and instead of them owning it or looking in the mirror or saying, let me look into this and examine what you're saying and look and really get a deep understanding of what you're saying, they deflect. Well, you did this. What about you? What about this? Da, da, da. Or they literally deny what you know to be true, i.e., gaslight you to try to make you think something's wrong with you because you called it out. Does the space call out your dysfunction? Does the space make you better? Does the space challenge you? Does the space call out your dysfunction? I'm gonna give you one more, and this one's gonna kind of throw some of y'all. We're talking about spaces that make you better, not average. You ready? The fourth one I'm gonna give you, and then we're gonna go to number 3, 4, and 5. Y'all gonna get April. They're gonna get a little bit more than an hour tonight because it's the last live of 2025. All right, but I've said last week, we're gonna go to back to 60 minutes for these Thursday lives, so I can be reminded that time is my currency too. So it's important that you support the show. Does the space make you better? Does the space challenge you? Does the space call out your dysfunction? You ready for this one? Does the space need you? Does the space need you? This one's gonna throw some of you, but let me explain. You know what I discovered about any space that challenges me or any space that aligns with my purpose? Most of those spaces, they don't need me. They doing good without me. Most of the spaces, most of the spaces that align with my purpose are fully functioning without me, which means my presence in their life, in that environment, is a bonus. It ain't a necessity. This is why you got to run from environments and people who need you. Because a telltale sign that you or somebody has bitten off more than you can chew is when you're in an environment or connection and you are dependent on that connection. Oh, that was really good. Yeah, you could do a whole series on that, which is why many of you got to evaluate your surroundings. That was salad worthy. Y'all gonna have me starving this weekend. That was salad worthy. You got to evaluate your surroundings and ask yourself a question: is everybody in my life connected to me, in my life, in my environment? Are these all people that need me? Because if the answer is yes, you might be the answer to their purpose if you don't need them, but they ain't the answer to yours. I discovered that any space that aligned with my purpose was really a space that didn't really need me. They were doing good without me, which meant I was in seat 16A, and the space I needed was in seats 1 through 5. That's what purpose is. You know why? Because when you're in a space that doesn't need you, yeah, sometimes it's going to make you a little uncomfortable. It's going to challenge you. It might call out your dysfunction, but it's absolutely what going to make you better. Now, some of y'all are so low budget that you only want connections, you only want people, you only want environments that just need you. Oh my God, I gotta feel needed. I gotta feel needed and wanted. I gotta feel. Let me tell you something. There's a place for that, and it's called average. And that ain't no look, look. That's not stated with the intent to hurt anybody or to disparage anybody. All I'm saying to you is if a person needs you, you in seat 3A, they probably in seat 20C. If a space doesn't need you, they're in seat 3A, you're in 20C, and you desire to be up there. And that's the space that's going to push you there. I had a lady that I met in Atlanta that I met at the tour, and we were talking on the stage. I try to talk privately. The marketing team moved my microphone. Try to talk privately to people because they ask questions while I'm signing books or whatever. And she said something to me very poignant that was right along the lines of this, but she meant it in a very literal way. You know, she was just like, Doc, I hear you talk so much about flying first class. I've never flown first class before. I flew here to this event. And I think she said in like seat 9 or 10 or something like that. She was like in the main plus area. And she was like, Doc, I really aspire to fly up there in first class. I said, go do it. I said, ma'am, you would look great in first class. Get up there and do it. Why? Because that space is in alignment with her purpose. It's going to make her better. It's going to challenge her. How? It's going to be more money. It's gonna call out your dysfunction. You're not about to get up there and have your legs and your arms all over the armrest on the other side of the person you sit next to. Folk in first class want their own space. Is this making sense at all? And some of y'all are forfeiting this because you're so diluted with average. Ain't nothing different about you. Ain't nothing different about your attitudes, beliefs, perspectives, and principles. And you're gonna know this by how you view things like challenges. I'm telling you, when you want to be better, you recognize the value of challenge. I appreciate you, Camille. Thank you so much for your support. Thank you for your contribution. Doc's gonna get a salad with that this weekend. All right, number 3. I'm giving y'all 5 things that divine focus should do. Before I give you number 3, y'all ready? No, let me give you three, and then I got a surprise for you before I give you four. Fourth thing that, or third thing that divine focus should do, it should force you to pay attention to what is in front of you. Divine focus should force you or help you pay attention to what is in front of you. In other words, divine focus should make your attention span intentional. Divine focus should make your attention span intentional. What does that mean? You should be very intentional about what you're paying attention to. Let me help y'all. This revelation just really the last month and a half, just having my head so bogged down in my work. It's the holiday season. I added two more clients to my calendar yesterday in an already very packed day because clients, for some reason, y'all, we get in the holidays and we forget all of our tools and we forget the things that have gotten us here. We allow jingle bells and elves to just bring us to another place mentally that we don't have to go. But I've really felt arrested the last month and a half, just thinking about my attention and where my attention is. Because energy goes where attention flows. And if you are not paying attention to what is in front of you and prioritizing the things in front of you, and your attention is wandering everywhere else but on what's in front of you, you're not going to live a focused, productive, driven life. It ain't gonna happen. Which is why, if y'all don't hear nothing else I say tonight, hear what I'm about to say. Some of you really need to seriously give some second thought about the things that you entertain through the gateways of your eyes and your ears. What you entertain through the gateway of your eyes and ears is going to be critical for you moving forward if you're going to have divine focus. What you entertain, record this, you're going to be the smartest person at the water cooler tomorrow and throughout the Christmas break. What you entertain through your eyes and ears is critical for divine focus. Which means some of you need to think about social media and your cell phone and pulling back, being a little bit more disciplined when it comes to how you use your cell phone, what you watch, what you entertain on television. I was telling the subscribers Tuesday, we had a really good conversation about this. You know, I can't speak for Instagram, TikTok. Lord knows I can't speak for TikTok. That trash. Facebook, I can't really speak for a lot. Instagram, I can a little. I can definitely speak for TikTok. Let me tell you something. What might pop up on your Instagram feed, your TikTok feed, definitely. Facebook, you may not have much control over. I really believe that those platforms really do a lot to control narrative. It ain't a popular thing to say out loud. It don't matter. I've been shadow banned on all of these things now, at least the last 2 to 3 years. And my content is still getting out there because you can't stop purpose. But I do believe that YouTube is one of those places where the algorithm doesn't lie. I can grab your phone and open up your YouTube app, and the related videos that it shows me is going to be a direct reflection of what you've been watching. It's going to be a direct reflection of what you've been watching. You've got to watch what your eyes and ears entertain. And there's so many different ways that you are not entertaining things. You're entertaining everything but what is in front of you. There's so many different ways you know this. right? Your ability to focus is one of them. Short attention span is another one. Easily distracted. Now I'm waiting on somebody to say, but Doc, I got ADHD. I just know y'all. Doc, I got ADHD, Doc. That's why I have short attention span. Well, I got a response for that. I have clients that had it that learn how to move beyond it and heal from it by learning how to focus on what's in front of them. I know because y'all got an excuse for everything. I love y'all, but Doc, what about this? What about this? What about you just pay attention to what's in front of you? What about you developing a mentality and a mind frame that suggests that the world isn't going to go into doom and gloom if you don't leave what's in front of you to address two or three or four other things that are not? That you build the mental and emotional capacity to recognize that most things are built brick by brick, not in a forest. I just gave y'all a preview of how I deal with people and work with people, clients that I have that have ADHD that are doing just fine right now. I appreciate that, Holly. Holly said that on TikTok. I won't say your full handle, but it's important. I have ADHD and focusing on being in the present has helped. It does work. It does work. And y'all have to stop putting so much credit on all of these titles. And Lord knows the medication. I'm not going to get on that trip tonight. And just learn how to build your life and the things you do in your life brick by brick. I mean, easiest analogy in the world that you can think of. Do people build a house and start on the foundation? Be like, well, let me come back to that. Let me go over here and put these walls up. Let me come on this side over here, on this side of the slab, and let me start on the walls right here. And then, oh no, man, I got to go back over here, and I got to finish laying the slab concrete because I laid the slab concrete, and so let me go back over here and do the slab concrete. No. Let me go back over here to the brick. Nobody builds a house that way. Teresa said, poor house. I agree. Okay. So we got to learn to pay attention to what's in front of us, not be so scatterbrained, and make sure that the thing that is in front of us is in alignment with the direction that we're going. This might mean that some of you are going to have to endure seasons of your life where you are allowing tunnel vision to get you from point A to point B. I believe many of us would accomplish more if we had better tunnel vision. Sure, there are some things and situations where peripheral or side view, side-eyed vision is needed. But for the most part, when you're driving, you're mostly looking here and less here. You're looking some there, but it's mostly here. It's tunnel vision, it's focus ahead. And many of us could use better tunnel vision. You wouldn't be so triggered if you had better tunnel vision. You wouldn't be quick to blame people. What they posted on social media is throwing off on you if you had better tunnel vision. Uh-oh. That's a good one. That's a shout out to all of you who scroll your friends' stories and posts, and you see something that you think is related to you, and you ain't talked to them, And your thoughts and emotions automatically gravitate to that as if it's connected to you. You need to practice tunnel vision. Because the only way that related to you is if you're a hit dog. Because hit dogs always bark and holler. Practice tunnel vision. I think many of us need to spend more time with our head down and focused on our work and our plans, and looking less with our head up looking around at everything else but what we're supposed to be paying attention to. And there's so many things that will help you form tunnel vision, like being in the present, journaling. Meditation is the ultimate thing that helps you focus on being in the present. You need to spend some downtime with yourself. Cut all the music off, cut all the background noise. I did so much work in this quiet house, listening to a lot of banging in that kitchen this week, but it was allowing me to lock in on the million things that I did every single day. Y'all wouldn't believe this. Shout out to my Third Eye Studios, my marketing team out of Houston, or media team out of Houston. They had a great idea that hopefully will be coming up real soon, and you guys are going to get to see what I do every day. I don't think people really believe it. I don't think people really believe all the stuff that I do in a day. And it's really, truly a miracle that everything gets done. But I'm a master at paying attention to what's in front of me. I'm not easily distracted. I can get easily bored, but I'm not easily distracted. If there's a task in front of you, learn how to master that task. All right, let me give you number 4 and 5. I got 11:35, but I got a surprise announcement. So I undercalculated the number of slots that I had available for individual sessions. People that have purchased packages, many of those packages are sold out. I can't do packages. But I undercalculated the number of open slots that I had for open individual sessions. I have 8 slots available. They're on the website. They should be live right now. If you want an individual counseling session with me, get on it. I would imagine that if we leave this video up, those 8 slots are not going to last before the end of the day tomorrow. Okay. Now, I noticed this and I said to myself, I really should just salvage those 8 hours. I'm just being honest. Doc don't have time for himself. I should just keep these 8 hours to myself. But this is a very busy time of the year. I'm used to this pace in November, October, late October-ish, November, December, January-ish, February are very busy months. Okay. So no, you don't have to have a PowerPoint, none of that stuff. It will ask you if you've got notes or things like that that you want to share with me. You can put all of that in the notes section when you complete that. So the link is in my bio. They're going to be individual sessions, and it should show that there are some available. There are 8 exactly available. And once those are done, then I'm probably going to be tied in for maybe another month or 2 until people start to fall off. All right. That's the big surprise. Tell your friends if they're not on the calendar, this is a good time to do it. Number 4. You ready? So we said number 1, we're talking about ways to have divine focus or the outputs of divine focus. Number 1, no more wasted time. Number 2, it teaches you how to avoid being diluted and not different. Number 3, causes you to pay attention to what's in front of you. Number 4, it makes you very selective about who has access to you. Divine focus should challenge you to be very selective about who has access to you. Divine focus should challenge you to be very selective about who has access to you. Divine focus should cause you to be very selective about who has access to you. Let's not confuse access with responsibility. Let's not confuse access with responsibility. They ain't the same. That just because something or someone has access to you does not mean you have responsibility for them. Y'all got to stop carrying responsibility for people that have access to you. Just because a person has access to you doesn't mean you have responsibility for them. Responsibility for their well-being, responsibility for their mental and emotional wellness, responsibility for their healing and wholeness. No. Y'all got to stop showing up in spaces broken and then expecting the people that you are connected to be responsible for your brokenness. Cut it out. Folk not responsible for your brokenness. Folks are not responsible for your incompleteness. People are not responsible for where you come up short. Folks not responsible for your insecurity. Folks are not responsible for your fear. People are not responsible for your doubt. People are not responsible for how you second guess everything. People are not responsible for your trust issues. I'm talking about new people, and not even the old ones either. Because even if a person in the past did something that violated your trust, guess what? They can't keep violating it. When a person violates your trust, they can't keep violating it. The only way they continue to violate it is if you allow them to, or you grant them the title of still being responsible. 9.5 times out of 10? No, 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 no. 10 times out of 10, unless they have repeated the matter, they ain't still breaking your trust. You just keep replaying that experience in your mind. And what did I tell you earlier about replaying experiences? You waste a whole lot of time replaying low value commitments and experiences. Y'all, in 2026 and moving forward, be selective about who has access to you. Access to you. Let's not confuse access with responsibility. Stop carrying people just because they're in your space. Stop carrying people just because they're in your space. Stop giving people easy passes in your space. Uh-oh. If I'm being honest with you, you're going to know you're clicking when people really do feel like it's an honor and a privilege to be in your space. Stop giving people easy passes into your space. Folks shouldn't feel like they can just get in your space whenever they want to. I'm talking about especially y'all, especially strangers. I'm not talking about friends and family members. And even with that, you got to have some boundaries. Even with friends and family members, you got to have some boundaries. Folks will trauma dump on you. What's trauma dumping? Taking all of their unprocessed pain and drop it on you as if it's your problem or you're the cause. But you do realize that eventually a trash can gonna start to smell like the trash that it's been carrying. And I ain't talking about the person that dumped it on you. I'm talking about the trash you received. Stop giving people easy passes in your space. When you're functioning in divine focus, you're gonna realize that everybody should not have easy access to your space. How do you handle trauma dumping? Tell people they can't dump what they're trying to dump on you. It's that simple. Real easy. I have two bins at my house. To that question, I have two bins in my house. I have a regular trash bin and what's called a recycle bin. They come and get the recycled trash every other week. Every other Tuesday, they come and get the regular trash every Tuesday and the recycled trash every other Tuesday. So one week, Tuesday, is just the regular trash out there. The next week, it's both cans. It's the regular trash and it's the recycled trash. I remember one time when I first moved here many years ago. And, I learned the trash schedule from my neighbors or whatever. So I call myself being slick because, I just moved in the house. I had a lot of cardboard boxes and stuff. So I'm trying to dump the stuff, boxes and trash and all this stuff. So I remember um, having some things that had styrofoam in it. And I thought I would be slick because I didn't have any more room in the regular trash. I thought I'd be slick and try to put the styrofoam in the recycle bin. And I remember going to work that day. This was many years ago. I remember going to work that day. And when I got back from work, I could still see my recycle bin somewhat just kind of notched up, like nothing had been dumped out of it, but there was a piece of paper on the top. So I walk up to the trash bin or the recycle bin, and taped on the top of my recycle bin is this notice from the city that says, hey, these items are not allowed in this bin. We noticed as we were preparing to dump this bin that it had these items, and on that list was styrofoam. I didn't have any more room in my regular trash. So I said, I'm going to just put in this recycle bin. They're going to dump it anyway. You know what they did? Somebody said, how do you handle trauma dumping? You know what they did to my trash bin? They left it right there. They left it. They refused to carry trash that they weren't supposed to take. Yeah, I live by this. You're not going to trauma dump on me, and then I'm going to take it like it's my trash. No, you carry that. Don't no styrofoam belong in here. They literally left it on the sidewalk as they should have. It didn't belong in there. And I absolutely said that. My nerd friend, get somebody else do it. That includes carrying folks' trauma. Mm-mm. This is why it's important to heal, y'all. This is why it's important to heal. And this is why it's important to then, after you heal or while you're in the process of healing, to connect with people that are healed. Because healed people can love you and still not carry your trash. I love y'all, but I ain't going to carry your trash. And I'm not going to be the cause or the reason. I'm not going to be the downfall guy for the trash you carry. Timothy said, no, I can't. I don't have time. Have you tried therapy? Not today. I'm going to add one to that. Not ever. That same styrofoam rule that existed years ago still exists today. I was laughing because a couple of weeks ago, they were putting a notice on a neighbor's recycle bin, and that neighbor hasn't been living here very long. And it kind of reminded me of my situation. And they put a notice on their bin too. So yeah, not today, not tomorrow, not forever. Y'all stop carrying stuff that don't belong to you. Be very selective about who has access to you. Don't confuse access with responsibility. Someone can be accessible to you and you not be called to them. Just because somebody has access doesn't mean you call to them. It's something Doc has really had to do a lot of thinking about. Serious. Because it kind of leads me to number 5, and then we're done. When you grant access to the wrong people, you will find yourself shouldering responsibility for stuff that at the end of the day ain't got jack squat to do with you. I wanted to say another word. I mean, if you're connected to people who are pros at giving you their trash, how can you walk away from me and my trash? We got to be very careful with this, y'all. Be very selective about who has access to you. And number 5, y'all supporting the show? Give you number 5 and I'm done. So 1, we said no more wasted time. 2, we said avoid being diluted and not different. 3, we said pay attention to what is in front of you. And 4, we said be very selective about who has access to you. Okay? Be very selective about who has access to you. Number 5, this is big. Create and maintain appropriate space. After you are very selective about who has access to you, you then have to create and maintain appropriate space. Create and maintain appropriate space. Let me tell you something. I learned a lot of lessons in 2026. This tour was great. Shout out to every single city that allowed me to come. Shout out to the hundreds of you that supported this tour. It was very much a privilege and a surreal experience to just pull this off without whatever support, blah, blah, blah. I could go down that rabbit hole. But it was really an honor. But let me tell you something. I learned a lot of lessons on this tour. Oh, boy, did I. One of the biggest lessons I learned, though, familiarity really does breed content. That when someone is familiar with you, they absolutely can easily lose honor for you because of their proximity to you. When someone is familiar with you, they really can lose honor for you because of their access to you. And y'all, we got to stop blaming them for it. Sometimes you got to stop being so nice and just set boundaries. And sometimes a big part of boundary setting is not trying to be nice so people feel comfortable. Sometimes a big part of boundary setting is creating appropriate space so people will respect you more than they like you. You have to learn how to teach people how to respect you more than they like you. And let me tell you something. I I yeah, you have to have appropriate space. I don't know what it is. People think they're close to you and they just think they can say what they want to say and do what they want to do. It's wild to me how people so easily lose honor because they have access. And the only people that lose honor through access are broken people. Gosh. Woo! The only people that lose honor through access are broken, or let's add to that, or unaware people. Some people do it and they're completely unaware to it, oblivious to it. Where was I? I think I was in New York. I was in New York, and one of the funniest things happened in New York. I was in New York, and I don't know if it was an age or a generation thing. It could have been, because I think generations view what I'm about to say as an example here um, differently. So it could have been an age thing or a generation thing. But I was, yeah, that too, Melissa. The big time energy stuff is just crazy. But I was in New York, and there was a lady that was waiting in line to talk, and she came up and she was talking. We're going through the pleasantries, hugged each other, whatever. So, but there was an older lady behind her, and the distance between me and the lady that was talking to me and the next person wasn't very far. And plus, the lady that was talking to me was very loud. I'd probably say she was probably like in her mid 30s. And the lady that was behind her was easily in her late 60s, maybe early 70s, which is another thing. Shout out. Man, I had people from so many age groups to having kids at certain stops that were the children of volunteers. I had the daughter of my beanie, the lady who makes my beanies. Her daughter came, and I had people in their 70s and 80s there. It's just a beautiful thing. But I'm in the line, I'm talking to this lady, and let me just say it didn't bother me. I'm just using this as an example because I know who I am. This lady's just, going on, and she was like, but Zeb, and she was hitting me on my arm. She's like, but Zeb, let me just tell you, I just, and for some reason, something said, look up. And I looked up, and behind her was this older lady who just kind of eased her way up there. Because, older people, they don't care. That's one thing I notice about older people. When older people really just get settled in their values, they address stuff. It be y'all 20, 30, 40 somethings that be scared to address stuff. Old folks, you get 70, 80 from what I hear. You get 70, 80, you get in that 8, you just say what it is. This is why I miss my grandma now. Because they just said what it was. And this lady took 2, 3 steps, came up and tapped this lady on the shoulder and said, ma'am, that's Dr. Zaya. She said, She said, that's Dr. Zaya. And the lady kind of looked at her like, I can't believe you corrected me. And then she was like, no, ma'am, I wasn't meaning it that way. She said, oh, baby, I'm sure you weren't. She said, but that's Dr. Zaya. This lady was in her 70s. And that taught me a lesson. It taught me a lesson that people can get in your proximity and get in your space, and that familiarity calls them to minimize in their eyes who you are, and they lose honor. And the best way sometimes to reset that is to just take a complete step back. And this is an honor issue. Maintaining appropriate space not only helps to correct this challenge with familiarity, it helps to correct this challenge with honor. With honor. And I can honestly admit that I learned this from how my dad raised us. Now, my dad, was my pastor. He's my 7th and 8th grade basketball coach. He's my 9th grade honors geography teacher. He was my 10th through 12th grade assistant principal. He was the choir director. He was the founder of the gospel choir that I played with since 5th grade. So I was playing for the high school gospel choir in the 5th grade. I was playing the bass guitar, and it wasn't even my strongest instrument. My strongest instrument at that time was the keyboard, and I was playing the guitar for the high school gospel choir. The senior band director, 12th grade jazz band director, wanted me to play bass guitar as a 5th grader for the jazz band. My dad would not let me do it. Okay. So my dad was all of these things. But let me tell you something. When he was in that class and he was teaching me, he didn't even have to tell me this. I didn't walk up when he was my honors geography teacher and I made a 89B on a test and he made me come home and retake the test 4 times. I didn't walk up in that class when I saw him in class and be like, "Hey, Daddy." It was, "Hey, Mr. Talley." He wasn't even PhD then. "Hey, Mr. Talley." I sat down. It was, y'all ready for this? "Sir" and "ma'am." I got corrected Sunday in Atlanta. Lady was there. I don't know how old the lady was. It was really more out of respect. She's talking. I'm just like, "Yes, ma'am. No, ma'am. Yes, ma'am." I asked a question. "Yes, ma'am." She was stop. Said, "Doc, please don't call me ma'am." I said, "I'm sorry. It was no offense. It's honor." We don't even believe in that stuff. Your kids walk around and say yeah and no to y'all. They say yeah and no to y'all. They say yeah and no to teachers, and it ain't just no down south thing. They say yeah and no to y'all. They say yeah and no to teachers. They talk to people any kind of way, and y'all let them. You know why? Because most of y'all do it. That's another one. Bruh, sis, dog, homie. If me and my kids are playing around, we'll might play around, be like, bro. I'll even call them bro and sis. But they know if we dealing with something serious, they know better for them to be like, come on, bro, please. Some of y'all don't even know what that's like, ma'am and sir. It's so foreign to you. I can tell. And I learned it's one of many lessons I learned on this tour. You got to have appropriate space. People, people just don't understand honor and the power of honor. And familiarity challenges honor with the broken. Familiarity challenges honor with the unaware. Familiarity challenges honor to the person that is dysfunctional. No, many of your kids talking to you and they say whatever they want to say. They say it how they want to say it. Some of y'all aunties and uncles, and you let your nieces and nephews do it and say whatever they want to say. Talk to you. And this is why you have a generation that can't get close to people without losing respect. I can get close to anybody and still honor who they are. I have mentors that do incredible things, and I don't get around and be like, Rick. Nah, bro, it's Mr. Rick. It's still yes, sir. No, sir. So, y'all, sometimes you can reset honor by creating and maintaining appropriate space. And this is going to help you when you're dealing with broken, dysfunctional, or unaware people. That space resets honor and helps to create some clarity. Now I was working today. I'm gonna share this. I'm gonna let y'all go. I was working today, and I went on social media to do some posting. Posting is my job, and so sometimes I obviously post content. I didn't post any content on my post, but on my stories, I might do some things. I posted one thing this week. I might post something tomorrow, and then if I see some funny things or I have a lot of posts bookmarked because I want to post them later. I have some things bookmarked I want to post. And so when I was on there, I happened to see this video of this comedian that was showing this video of this woman who's a Christian who was talking about there's only one way married people should have sex. It was one of the most insane videos I've ever seen in a long time. Where this lady, in essence, she's a Christian, was saying that the only way God will honor sex between two people is if that man and woman are in a certain position. Okay. If they're in a certain position, missionary. And I couldn't believe what I was listening to. I, I, the thing was going on, and I was like, and she was serious. She talked about how God honors that because something about how she's positioned or something frees the man to be direct contact with God. I, I, my mouth was wide open, and then I had to take my own medicine. I just had to create some space from social media and just I said, forget it. I'll post later and just logged off. Y'all have to keep space from things that don't feed you well. I'm telling, and we wonder why the divorce rate ain't absent of the temple or the mosque or the church. Divorce rates is just as high in them spaces because there's somebody somewhere that really believes that. She was dead serious. And I was just like, I'm not going to tell y'all what I wanted to say and what I wanted to put in them comments because I was going to give her some recommendations. That I was going to give her some recommendations that might change. She might really see Jesus, baby. And that's all. I was just like, this cannot, this cannot be life. Yeah, yeah. And y'all, when you're in spaces like that, because the spaces can be connected to people and relation, they can also be connected to environments. Those environments will absolutely destroy your perspectives. That can influence things like honor and integrity. But I'm telling you, I never heard anything like that. I just, baby, you need to take some shots, and I'm not talking about the drinks, and you might have a different perspective of who Jesus is. could, I could not believe what I heard. Y'all, listen to me. Maintain appropriate space. Don't allow honor to be convoluted because things and people are too close. Familiarity really does breed content, and make sure that you're not wasting your honor on people who can't handle being familiar. That's the last note I got for y'all. Make sure you're not losing honor with people or environments. Make sure you're not losing honor with people or environments that can't handle fa- familiarity. People think they know you a little bit, and all of a sudden you just see a side of them. You just be like, "Ooh, who is you?" And the best way to reset that sometimes is take a step back. Y'all, was this helpful? All right. No live next week. I ran late tonight on purpose. Moving forward, definitely going to plan to get us out in 60 minutes on Thursdays. I'm going to probably expand the lives of subscribers a little bit longer because those lives can be a little intense. If you have not subscribed on Patreon, make sure you do that right away. I'm actually running a deal right now. If you want to do a year-long subscription on Patreon, you can do that. The link's in my bio, and it's powerful. We got a 50-week syllabus that's going to be kicking off in January. So we're going to be talking about a lot, but those lives are very intense. Right now, we are talking about the subconscious mind, and it's just intense nerd conversation. And I love it. Like it really is just awesome. And yeah, man, that's cool. Somebody says, Melissa said, I've been following your work, started following your work this January and can't believe it's the last Thursday live of the year. Yeah, time really flies. My kids looked at me this morning, was just like, Dad, like this year really flew by, and it did. This year was like lightning fast, and it might have been because all the tours and just all the traveling and stuff. But this year really went by really fast. But excited. Really want to say thank you to all of you for your support this year. Let me just say that to you. People People do not have to support you. People don't have to show up in spaces for you. People don't have to come and buy tickets to your events. People don't have to buy you salads on your lives. People don't have to subscribe to your Patreon. People don't have to buy books. People don't have to get sessions. You guys don't have to do none of this stuff. And I remember in 2020 having less than 7 clients and now having nearly 1,248 countries. It's because of your support. And so I am thankful for you all. I really appreciate your support of me in this space. And thank you for allowing me to be myself. What you don't, whether you realize it or not, I'm gonna be myself regardless. I just ruined a really tender moment. I'm gonna be myself regardless. But thank you for putting up with me being myself. I was really called and anointed to be who I am, and I'm excited about that. And it takes a little bit longer to progress to your goals when you are true and stick with authenticity. But I'm sticking with that. And so thank y'all so much for supporting me, for sharing my work. Let me say that. So many of you, I met so many people over the tours who found my work because some of you shared it. I met so many people over the tours. One lady in Atlanta was just telling me how she brought somebody she shared the work with. She opened up her phone and showed me these 5, 6 people she shared it with. Uh, you all sharing my work really means a lot to me too. And you don't have to do that also. And so I am very grateful for that and really appreciate you for doing that. Some of you, yes, have made friends from the tour. Jackie is awesome. Melissa, a great supporter of my work. She's always supporting my work, sending me words of encouragement as well. Um, so yeah, like so many wonderful things happen as a result of the tour. And so we're going to continue that work in 2026, but it just won't be called a tour. It won't be called that. It's going to be something else. And I'm playing with some things that ain't fully come. It's going to be shorter. It's not going to be as in many cities, but they should be bigger and more impactful experiences. And I hope you all will participate in them because I would certainly love to engage you in the space. Um, but just so thankful for all of you, so grateful for your support, and I'm looking forward to doing more work for you in this space. Um, and looking forward to doing more work with you, those of you personally, should you choose to do that. Remember, I said earlier, 8 more slots open up, or I was able to open up 8 more slots for those of you that might be interested in some counseling. So go to my site now because I said that about 30 minutes ago. I don't know if anybody's taken any. But typically those slots fill pretty fast. I underestimated my bandwidth, which was really wise of me, to be honest with you, because I have a history of going over my bandwidth. So I was trying to be smart this year, and I'm glad that I did, because I looked up, I was like, wow, I could take about 10 more people. And so landed on the 8 more, and so I don't know if anybody's taking anything or where we are on that, but just go look. If you're watching the replay, hopefully something is there. Doc, I have a question. Do you record your sessions, say, with a voice recorder? No, I don't record the sessions. All of my sessions are via are virtual via Zoom. I can record sessions. I do have clients who request to record sessions because some clients like to binge watch the sessions and listen to them over and over again and go back and take notes. Some I do challenge my clients to take notes during the session, but I do realize that some situations are so challenging for people. They would rather just want to sit and focus on what I'm saying and then go back and listen to it and record notes. I have no problem with that. So if you're one of those people, that's not an issue as well. Speaking of binge watching, I want to shout out Coach Sean Walker, who does a lot of my posting for me on a few of the social media networks. And he has put together a compilation. So he put together a 2 hour masculine feminine energy compilation video that you should go and check out. It's on my YouTube page. If you haven't subscribed to my YouTube, make sure you do that. But get this, y'all. He has a 7 hour marathon, a 7 hour marathon that's going to run next week. That is the best of 2025. It's 7 hours. And I love binge watching stuff. I like having things in the background playing when I'm working and doing things around the house, stuff like that. And so be on the lookout for that marathon. It's going to be crazy. 7 hours. And I couldn't believe he did that. It was very kind of him to do that for me, and just really grateful for that support. And so check that out. You'll see it on my story coming out, and looking forward to it. All right, y'all. So no live next Thursday because obviously it's Christmas. I'm not going to do a live on Christmas Eve. Subscribers, we will definitely be live next week. And I believe we're going to be live our regular time, which is Monday at 6 p.m. I'm not 100% sure. I will know once I know my daughter's volleyball schedule. I think she's still going to have volleyball practice. Not 100% sure. If she does, we may go live at 7 o'clock, but we're definitely going live on Monday. And I look forward to seeing subscribers. If you're not a subscriber, this is a great time to do it. Check it out. I always try to make sure that we see them every single week. All right, y'all. Support the show if you haven't already. I would highly recommend you do it, so that I can leave this live out. Thank you all again to those of you that did support. I appreciate your support. For those of you that celebrate Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, whatever it is that you celebrate, happy Merry Christmas, happy holidays to you and your family. And if you're not a subscriber and I don't see you before the new year, happy new year. And looking forward to some incredible things in the future. All right. Peace and blessings. Have a good night. I'll talk to you soon. Take care now.